Okay, on to the second example. This example is different because we start with our factored form. So if we remember what we get from factored form, we get our zeros or our x-intercepts. And that comes from taking each of the factors and setting them equal to 0 and solving. So when we do that, we get x equals 2 and we get -6. So my 2 points are 2, 0 and -6, 0. And I'm going to add those to the graph. So 2, 0, -6, 0. Okay. From there, I personally would go to standard form because we are used to working in standard form. So the way I go to standard form is I'm going to redistribute and multiply and expand this factored form out. So x times x gives me x squared. X times 6 gives me positive 6x. -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times 6 is -12. So when I combine like terms, that gives me x squared plus 4x minus 12. And then I need to now distribute this -1/2 through. So I'm going to multiply by -1/2, and I get -1/2 x squared minus 2x plus 6. So from there, that's standard form. So I could say y equals, or f of x equals. And I can look and see that a is negative, so I know this is going to open down. Okay, and I also know that my y-intercept is at 0, 6. So I go to my graph. I'm going to make a note for myself that it opens down. And then I'm going to plot the point 0, 6. And that point right there shows me that I'm in the right direction. Okay, I'm headed in the right direction because it looks like it's going to open down. Okay, the final form that we need to do is vertex form, and I don't have enough room, so I'm going to do it at the bottom here. Okay, but I'm going to go from my standard form. Remember, my standard form is y equals -1/2 x squared. Let's see. Where am I at? Oh yeah, minus 2x plus 6. Okay, I'm going to complete the square with that equation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that -1/2 out. So I get -1/2, and I have x squared. Remember, when I take a -1/2 out, that's like multiplying by 2. I'm dividing by 1/2. So that's plus 4x minus 12. So I'm going to take this part. I go x squared plus 4x plus something equals, moving that -12 over, equals 12 plus something. So this is where we complete the square. I take b, I cut it in half. So b is 4, cut it in half is 2, square is 4. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And this factors into x plus 2 squared. Okay. And then equals 16. So when I do that, I move the 16 over. So I get x plus 2 squared minus 16 equals 0. And then I need to re-put in that -1/2 to both things. So I get -1/2. And if I multiply that by -1/2, I get -1/2 x plus 2 squared. And then -16 times -1/2 is plus 8. So my vertex is going to be at -2, positive 8. So I go to -2 up to positive 8. Okay, and that my axis of symmetry is going to be at -2. So I'm going to make sure, okay, that I have the same points on both sides. And I'm going to connect my dots.